So I thought I would sketch this out to show you guys kind of my thought process with this. So we're just starting with a picture of Princess Anna. I'm going to base this off of her travel outfit from Frozen 1. And please remember that I am a seamstress, not an artist. So this is not going to be the most beautiful sketch, but it's what I can do. And it should get the thought process across. So first of all, the things that I think we need to keep in order for her to actually be recognizable is I think we need to keep the color scheme, and I also think you can't really see it very well on this picture, but her bodice has a lot of embroidery that's really kind of a staple of pretty much all of Anna's costumes is her embroidery. So we're going to keep that. So we're just going to go ahead and keep her entire original vest that I already have. And then for her skirt, we're just going to make a little skirt that's in that same kind of blue shade, but I just want it to be a little bit shorter and a little more fun for Halloween. And then I think I'm going to get rid of her cape and her little winter cap that she wears, but in order to keep the pink that she has, we're going to still give her a little button-up top underneath her vest, but I think we're going to go short sleeves, and we're going to make that pink. And then she's going to wear the witch hat, and that's going to be the pink witch hat that I made in this video over here. So all that we really need to make is going to be her bodice and her skirt. And then I think we're going to give her a couple little shoe bows with some leftover scraps, and I think that'll be cute too. And then for her hair, I'm just going to keep her regular braided style as well. So that's just a little insight to how I came to my design for this little witchy Anna. So let's go ahead and get on into it. This is the Wizard of Oz Simplicity pattern. So I'm just doing the bodice that like Dorothy and the Wicked Witch wear, without the like over stuff, obviously, just the plain bodice. So I've got mostly everything pinned, and yes, two things. Yes, okay, you should iron your fabric. You should also make mock-ups, but I'm not doing either of those things because I'm trying to just rush through this to get it done because it's October and it got cold and I want to do the photo shoot really, really soon. So these pieces I had already cut out for a different project. And so I had already cut all of these out, and at the time I think it would have fit me, but I never did that project, and that was a couple years ago. So I'm putting a little bit of extra room into the front and back of the bodice, otherwise I think it might be tight. I'm not sure. Again, you probably should do a mock-up if you actually care about this, but I'm hoping to get all this done today. So we have the bodice front, the bodice back, the sleeve bands, the sleeves, and then I also have the collar, but the collar is the only thing that doesn't need to be cut to or on a fold like these all are. So I'm just going to cut this out of the scraps after I cut this so that I can just use the minimum amount of fabric that I need to. So let's do that. Okay, so following our little Dorothy pattern here, the first thing that we're going to do is the darts. And so we're going to take our front and back bodice pieces. And we need to do stay stitching up by the necks, and then we also need to transfer our dart lines from our pattern to the back side of our fabric. You don't want it on the front side, you want it on the back side, because that's the side that we're going to see when we sew. So we have our pattern, and we're just going to have to do this on both sides because this was the one that was on the fold. So I've already taken it all and put little holes into the pattern pieces where I need it. So we're just going to take our tailor's chalk. I'm going to go down here at the bottom and do the same thing. And then we're just going to connect the dots with a ruler. So I've connected my little dots with my tailor chalk, so that is the outline for my dart, and then we just need to do it again on the other side. Okay, so I've stay stitched at each of the necks, and I've added all of the darts. They need to get ironed down in the right places. So next I just need to stitch the front and back bodices together at the neckline, and then I'm going to start on the sleeves. And then for the sleeves, I need to go through and mark little holes on the pattern again, and then we're just going to gather them together to make the sleeve nice and poofy. So I have to do that to the top and the bottom, and then I will add the armbands to the bottom and then attach them to the bodice. Okay, so sorry if there's some crackling in the background, but it's freezing, so the space heater's on and it's doing this crackly thingy. So if it's in the background, it is what it is. I'm sorry. So basically, I'm going to do gathering stitches along the top and the bottom between those chalk marks that we made. And then I'm going to attach the armband to the bottom, and then I'm going to attach the top into the sleeve and then sew up the sleeve as well as the side seams, and then we'll figure out how to do the collar down here. Okay, so I have done my gathering stitches, and you can see it's already started to gather pretty well on its own. I didn't do that. That's just what the machine did as I stitched it with such a large stitch. On my machine, I used the highest stitch I could. So now I'm going to take these sleeve bands and just attach them here, and we'll just gather these up as much as we have to make it fit the length. And this is just, I cut it a little longer. Again, that's just from, like I mentioned earlier, I cut these pieces out a long time ago, and I think that a little bit longer might be a little bit better for me. And then after I did that, and was quite frankly pretty happy with my little ruffle, by the way, I noticed that I didn't pay attention to the instructions. So here we are with the trusty old seam ripper, ripping out all of our work. Now that I've unpicked all of this and I know what I'm doing, I'm going to take both of the armbands and fold them wrong sides together and then just press and stitch along the edge. And then I'm going to regather these, and then we're just going to pin them together once it's gathered up enough like we did before, and stitch them together like I did before. So let's give that another try. I think that is about as nice as it's going to look, so let's go ahead and take her over to the machine and stitch her up. Okay, so here is my sleeve and armband. You can see all of the larger stitches from the gathering stitch, so I'm going to unpick all of that now that I'm happy with my armband. So I'm going to do the other one just like that, and then we'll actually get to putting it into the bodice like I keep saying. Also, I don't know where my nice seam ripper went, but I would really much like to find her and have her returned to me, because this one just is not as nice. Okay, so I got one sleeve done here. It's nice and poofy, so I'm happy with that. I expected to kind of have more issues with it, and it was actually really easy. So, yay, actually being easy for once. So, I'm going to show you guys on the other sleeve. Okay, so we have all of this excess because we need to gather this up until all of this lines up with these like 4 or 5 inches here. Okay, so I've got the sleeve sewn on, and I unpicked the gathering stitches already. So we are just going to pin these underarms, or the sleeves together, I should say. So we're down to our collar, which is going to be very similar to the armband. We have our notches here to follow to line up all of this. And then, as you can see, this is much longer. We're going to gather this middle part, and I've already done my gathering stitch down here. So we're just going to gather this up until it is this length, and we'll have a cute little gathered detail. So I just stitched down the raw edges a little bit so that they will be fully enclosed, and then folded it and ironed it just like we did with the armband. Okay, please excuse the mess over here, but this is where we're at with the little top. I don't have any closures or anything, so this is just how it's sitting on me. So it's a little bit, it fits pretty good. I like how the ruffles turned out. I think that's gonna be really cute poking up over her vest. So, and I like the poofy high necks. They're kind of like classic Wicked Witch silhouette things. So basically now I just need to find a way to close it, which I was thinking a zipper, but I would have to have the zipper not, yes, I don't know. And then I have to figure out what to do to hem these and do something with that. So, but I'm gonna have the vest over it, so I mean, it's turning out cropped because it's supposed to be like a high-waist dress, I think, so that doesn't matter because the vest is going to go over it. So I think I'm probably just going to roll hem this and then figure out how to close up the top. We did run into an issue with the zipper because the zippers that I have, they like have to have this thing at the bottom or they won't work. I don't have the one where I can totally separate. So it won't, I mean, it's just not going to fit over my head because my waist is bigger than my shoulders and my bust. So that's just not going to work. So I think we're going to ditch that idea, and I think I'm just going to sew some snap tape into it. And then it'll just snap on and off, and it won't be the easiest to get on and off, but I think this will be fine. And the vest is going to make it all nice and form-fitted and flattering for me anyways. And then I'm just going to kind of hem the bottom to hide that raw edge, and then I think we'll pretty much be good to go for the top. So to get started, I'm just going to make a simple circle skirt pattern. I used a circle skirt calculator. I can link it down below for you guys. But basically the first thing I want to do is get the center and then from this line here I'm going to measure the length that I want it. Okay, so for my waistband, all I did was cut out a 4" by 31" piece of fabric, and then I'm just going to fold that over, and that's going to be my waistband. I also pulled out this blue invisible zipper that matches my fabric pretty much identically, and that is going to go in as well. So let's go ahead and wrap that up real quick. So first I did just really quickly stitch down the edges. It's not the prettiest thing I've ever done, but it will prevent it from fraying, which is pretty much the only thing I needed to do. Okay, so I have cut out my waistband to my size and I pinned it all nice and flat, and it's too short. So I guess I should have measured the skirt instead of just measuring my waist, but I made the skirt to my waist measurement, so that's what made sense to me, but that was apparently incorrect. So there's now like 2 inches. So don't do what I did. I'm gonna finagle with this to make it work, but maybe add a couple extra inches to your waistband if you make a circle skirt. Okay, my sins have mostly been reconciled. I just did a teeny little couple inches of the waistband basically the same way and then stitched it in, and then I just top stitched them together. If this was a garment I actually wanted to wear regularly, I would have taken the time to just unpick it and recut a new waistband and do it properly, but just for my little Anna witch, I think that'll work just fine. So now we'll put in the zipper and move along as planned. Okay, so my skirt has a waistband and there is a zipper installed. I ended up just doing a basic rolled hem for this when you just fold it over twice. She's done, the top's done. I still have to make a couple little shoe bows to go along with it.
The shoe bows were very easy. I'll just go ahead and link to my shoe bow tutorial down in the description box below. I essentially followed that, except I made 2 little bows. For the blue bow, I used a rectangle of 5 by 9 inches, and for the pink bows, I used rectangles of 4 by 8 inches. After I made the 2 separate bows, I just sewed them together, and then I used thread to cinch them tight together so that they would have that pinch in the middle. After that, I just finished them off like I did in my tutorial.